Thank you for informing. Okay, so cell cycle in general, what it means, like everyone is aware of what the cycle refers to, right? It's a sequence of events and which happens one after another. So specifically with respect to a cell, what exactly happens during the process of division, or let's say for example from the parent cell or mother cell giving rise to a new cell that is called as daughter cell. This process or sequence of event is called as cell cycle. So this is ordered sequence of event that occur in a cell in preparation of a cell division, right? Cell division, that is when the cell divides into the daughter cells, that process is cell division. And this sequence of event when the cell prepares for the cell division, and again from this newly formed cell, it again goes back to the same sequence. Whole process is known as cell cycle. Now, usually this process will take care of replication of the genetic material and also divide itself into two identical cells. Most important characteristics of this cell cycle or cell division process is creation of the identical cell. Had it not been identical, then you can imagine of, let's say my liver cell decides to become a stomach cell or decides to become a kidney cell or a neuron or whatever, right? That is non-identical. Then it will create a problem in that particular organ system. So that is when that word creation of the identical cell is very, very important, and that can be like guessed by our own common sense. That is like very obvious. So the second thing was replication of the genetic material, and not only genetic material but also of the cell organelles. Replication means duplication in short. So that also happens during this cell cycle. And exactly what are the sequence of events in this whole process, that we will see further. But just to give you a brief outline here, this cell cycle is a 4-stage process, and which involves several of the phases or stages, and they are defined or denoted by certain letter or a name, right? And that is what is written in that third point. That is, the cell cycle is a 4-stage process in which a cell increases in size. Again, why does it increase and so on, that we will see further. So that first stage is gap 1, or also called as G1. It is also called as first growth stage, G1, that is growth, first growth stage or first growth phase. Second one is the synthesis phase or S stage. Then next one is a growth or gap 2 phase, that is G2 phase or stage. You can use this either of these terminologies, but use it consistently throughout. You can either say a stage or you can also say a phase. Phase is more appropriate word because that's a throughout that it's a process. It's not just at one particular step that we call it a mitosis or a G2 or G1. So it's a phase, that is the process from previous one to the next one. So that's why I prefer phase. And the last one, that is mitosis, that is called as M phase. Now, if I have to define what exactly the cell cycle, this was the basic description. Now, if I have to define, like let's say the question is define cell cycle, then I will write as it is a series of event that takes place in a cell leading to duplication of its DNA and subsequent division of the cell to produce new daughter cell. Now, this again looks very complicated sentence, but if you want to simplify this, you can also write in a definition without losing the meaning of the sentence, like it is a series of events or cyclic uh, series of events taking place in a cell where the production of the two identical daughter cells happen after the duplication of the cell materials. And that's so simple, like duplication of the cell organelles or cell materials including DNA and production of the two identical cells. These are the two important terminologies along with the series of events. So if you want to place this word in any sequence in your definition, that should still be okay. So that is the definition part. Now, just to let you know, at the bottom that you see a reference which is in blue color. So most of my slides, if at all I have a little extra information on this particular topic, whichever the slide is talking about, I have hyperlinked that in that reference. So if you click on this reference, you will be taken to that respective website or whatever that article is, and then you can read little more about this slide content. So that is why I have hyperlink. So wherever you see this reference at the bottom of the slide, that means it has some additional information just for your reference. It need not, you like not really have to go through it, but it's best that if you go through. Now, if I have to further elaborate on this topic of cell cycle, like usually to divide a cell must complete several important tasks. It's simple thing, like whenever we are doing a certain activity, we have to pre-plan it, right? So something similar happens in the cell cycle also. Like if the cell has to divide, it has to prepare itself before it has to undergo or before it is to undergo the cell division process. That, and this involves the cell must grow in size. And now you can simply imagine, like if there is one cell and there is one mitochondria and one nucleus and let's say 23 pair of chromosome and several other cell organelles like ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum and so on. Now if the cell has to divide these into two daughter cells, it cannot make it half. It has to duplicate itself first, every cell organelle and everything that is present, and then it will divide one to the first daughter cell and the rest half to the other daughter cell. So that's why, and accommodating the same number, not same number, but the double the number of cell organelles in the same cells will obviously need some extra space, and that is why the cell must grow. And then it has to copy its genetic material. Again, it's something similar, like the cell organelles are getting duplicated, the genetic material is also getting replicated or duplicated. So it has to create two copies. So one goes to the one cell and the second set will go to the other cell. And the last stage is physically splitting into the two daughter cells. So this physical splitting is actually your mitosis phase, and that we will see in the while we are looking at the individual stages of the cell cycle. Cell perform this task in an organized, predictable series of steps and make up the cell cycle. That is very obvious. Cell cycle, like I mentioned, it is a cycle and not a linear pathway. Usually what happens in linear pathways is like start product is something else, end product is something else, and then end product need not again go back to the starting phase. But in a cyclic process, the end product, whatever it is, whether it's a divided cells or whatever chemical reaction, in a cyclic process, it again goes back to the first stage where it has started. So that's the cyclic process and not the linear process. Because at the end of the each, it's two daughter cells, whichever they are formed, they again go back to the what their parents had gone through or the parent cell had gone through. In eukaryotic cells, that is obviously you know what eukaryotic cells are. The cells with nucleus, the stages of the cell cycle, they are divided into two major phases. That is interphase and mitotic phase. Now what is interphase, what is mitotic phase, we will see in detail for sure. So these are the two major phases in which the cell cycle is divided into. Now during the interphase, it will prepare itself, copy all the genetic material, cell organelle and so on. So that is interphase. That is like you can also call in a non-biological language a preparatory phase, right? Because the cell is preparing for the division. And like I said, mitotic phase is the one where the cell actually divides into two daughter cells, identical daughter cell, and it divides everything, whether it's a DNA, cell organelle, cytoplasm, and all of these things will be divided into the mitotic phase. So that is interphase and the mitotic phase. Now, just to show you how does it look like. So, like I said, the cell cycle, if you look at the inner circle, cell cycle is divided into two phases, that is interphase and the mitotic phase, that is shown here in yellow. So, this complete thing is cell cycle, which is divided into two. Now, if you look at the interphase, it is further divided into three sub phases, right? That is G1, growth 1 phase, or the first growth phase, or it is also called as gap 1 phase, synthesis phase, and G2 is your second growth phase or gap 2 phase. So these are the three stages which are the subdivisions of the interphase, and subsequently mitosis is divided into several other. I will not complicate it this year. This we are anyway going to study into individual stages, so I leave it as it is. But what you need to remember is two stages of cell cycle, interphase and mitosis.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
But we're not gonna be studying the sub stages of mitosis, right?
We are going to study every stage of the mitosis. We are not going to study the stages of meiosis, which is the other type of cell division.
Okay.
Okay. But I will still give you an idea of meiosis, because that brief outline of the meiosis is still there in the syllabus. Like this, they mention of the definition, but definition will not mean anything if you don't understand the brief idea or brief concept of the meiosis process. So we may not go into details of meiosis, but mitosis is surely there in the syllabus. Okay, so that these are the two phases of the cell cycle, interphase and mitosis. Interphase is further divided into three, that is G1, S, and G2. And this diagram is just to give you an idea of what exactly happens in G1, S, and G2, and so on. Now, this part, like I said, we will study when we look at the mitosis, but you have an idea. Also, there is a mention of G0 in both of these diagrams. I'm not talking about it at this moment, but we will talk it as and when it comes. So, just remember, these are the three main phases of the interphase, and the mitosis as the second phase of the cell cycle. So, again, a brief outline of these stages of cell cycle. G1 phase, that is the first starting point of the cell cycle, or you can say starting point also of the interphase. In this, cell increases in size and the cellular contents are duplicated. Now, what are the cellular contents? Like I said, cellular content means these are the mostly organelles and some of the proteins which are required for duplication. Like for example, in the second phase, DNA replication has to happen. Now, DNA replication doesn't happen on its own. It needs certain machinery, right? Machinery in the sense, certain proteins, certain enzymes, and so on, that I call as cell machinery. So these, if the DNA has to replicate in the second phase of the interphase, that is synthesis phase, then it has to get prepared in the first stage itself, and that is what is cellular contents are duplicated. So if there is one set of cellular machinery or cellular organelles, it will make two sets of each of these, and that is why, because of this increase in content, the cell size will ultimately increase. That is G1 phase. In S phase, like I said, there is replication of DNA. We will briefly see what this replication looks like later. Each of these 46 chromosomes, that is 23 pairs, will be replicated. So there will be two sets of 23 pairs, or you can say two sets of 46 chromosomes. Again, do not get confused. Here it is easier to get confused, like we can say 23 like chromosomes, and then it duplicates, then it still remains only 46. but it is not just 46, it is 46 plus 46 or 23 pair plus 23 pair. So that's how the replication will occur, and this will be done by that particular cell whichever is undergoing the cell division process. In
So,
yes.
um, I have a doubt. So, what cellular contents are duplicated in phase one? So, contents like cellular contents in the sense.
Cellular content in the cells, like I mentioned, of the ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, then all the other organelles. Plus, there are certain enzymes which are hanging around in the cytoplasmic space, or there are certain proteins. All of these materials, they are cellular content. Apart from the DNA, which gets duplicated in the second stage, that is S phase, synthesis phase. Most of the things they are like synthesized or duplicated in the G1 phase itself. And like I said, like if we are building a house, first thing is we don't build a roof, right? We start from the bottom where we are setting up the foundational stone and so on, right? So that is something similar analogy here also. If the cell has to duplicate its DNA and rest of the materials, whatever machinery is required for that duplication later has to get duplicated first in the first phase. So that is the idea behind this. I hope that
Yeah.
is clear.
Okay.
Okay, so then that is the S phase where DNA or chromosomes are duplicated. In G2 phase, now whatever the rest of the organelles are there, like obviously not every organelle gets duplicated in the G1 phase. There are certain, now again we don't have to go into deep, otherwise there is a separation of the organelles also. For example, mitochondrial DNA, what happens to it? Chloroplast DNA in plant cell, what happens to it? So there are very, very, very minute details. Also with respect to ribosomes, what happens to rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So there are several such things, but we need not go into those details because again that will just complicate things for you to remember. So whatever is remaining from duplication that was not duplicated in the G1 phase, that gets duplicated, and this again mostly involves the proteins which are required for the mitosis. So like G1 was preparing for rest of the phases like S and G2. Now in G2, most of the things which are getting duplicated, that will be used for mitosis phase, because mitosis is actually cell division process. Now, if you might wonder, then why the cell doesn't have only one growth phase and synthesize everything at the first itself, and then it can use those materials later? It is because obviously, if you like you whenever again, like I'll give that analogy of building a house, you go stepwise, you get the material stepwise, you get everything ready stepwise. Something similar happens here. So G1 will prepare for S phase and also for G2 phase, and G2 will prepare specifically for the M phase where the cell division is going to occur. So mitosis has actually two different sub phases, I can say, that is cytokinesis. Cyto refers to cytoplasm, and karyokinesis. Karyokinesis is not mentioned here, but that will come when we look at the mitosis phase in detail. So cytokinesis, karyokinesis, that is division of cytoplasm, means cytokinesis. Division of nucleus, that is karyokinesis. So these are the two main sub phases of the mitosis. Now I'll go back to diagram just to make it a little clear. So these four phases that you see, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, this is the nuclear division. And cytokinesis that you see, that is the cytoplasmic division. Cell obviously has a cytoplasm and nucleus. Both of these has to divide. So that is what is karyokinesis in these four phases, and cytokinesis in the cytoplasmic division. So that is the brief outline of these stages of the cell cycle. In G0 phase, now I will mention of this, which I skipped it here. So this G0 phase, as you see, it is at the start of the cell cycle, right? Now, let's say, for example, there has been a certain cell which has already been divided and has done its function, and now it's the time for that cell to divide further, right? So it can choose either to divide further, or it can choose to stay in the dormant stage. Now, for example, my skin has certain cells in a layer, and all of you are very much aware that skin will keep shredding the cells throughout the day, so that the replacement of the new cells keeps happening. But that does not happen with the nerve cell, or that does not happen with some of the kidney cells, or some of the liver cell, and so on, or even the heart cells, right? They don't get replaced every now and then like skin. So what those cells do is they go into a resting phase, that is called as G0 phase. G0 is a dormant stage of the cell, where cell is performing its function, but it is not undergoing the division. In rest, all of the cells which are undergoing division, they do perform their function, but they also undergo the cell division continuously. In G0, cell division does not occur, but the cell is still very much functional. Like, you have never seen a nerve cell not doing its function because it is undergoing the cell division process, right? So that just a brief idea of what G0 phase is. And also, like, whenever the cell, now cell does not decide on itself, it has a certain fate. So there is a complete topic, or complete subdivision of the biology, which talks about cell fate. That means what happens to a particular cell, whether it's a liver cell, muscle cell, heart cell, nerve cell, kidney cell, or nephron, like whatever that cell is, that has a certain fate, and that fate is decided by the proteins which are present in that particular cell. So either it can choose to stay in the dormant stage, or it can choose to divide, but that decision is done by the certain proteins which are present. And once the resting phase is over, that is the G0 phase is over, they can again enter into the G1 phase of the cell cycle, and then it can continue division. Now again, after one division, it might decide to enter into the resting phase, or it can keep dividing, and so on. So that is the idea behind this resting phase, or G0 phase. Any question here so far?
So, sir, are cells basically immortal?
No, cells can become immortal, but they have a fate. That is what I said. The fate of the cell is decided by the proteins which are present. Like yesterday, no, I guess I did mention, it is yet to come ahead. So there is a process which is called a self-killing of the cell. That is, in scientific term, it is called as apoptosis. That is the self-killing of the cell. The cell knows when it has to stop, or when it has to self-kill itself, so that it is no longer required in the system or in the body, and then it has to undergo the apoptosis process. But otherwise, something like cancer, right? Cancer, it does not stop growing. Had there been a chance that the body is allowing the cancer to grow continuously, the human like body size would have kept on increasing. Now imagine, because of the cancer, a person dies, and that is why cancer stops there. But imagine the other situation, where the person is living, cancer is not being harmful, but it is growing, and it grows uncontrolled and expands to quite a lot of extent. And that is when when the person dies, the cancer also gets killed, but that is actually the immortal stage of the cells. So
So,
if,
sir,
yes.
in a hypothetical, you kept a person alive. Let's say they had a tumor. You kept on cutting small enough parts so that it doesn't become life-threatening, and you keep on giving them food, water, everything.
Huh?
That so that part of cell, that tumor would be immortal in some sense. It would not never stop dividing.
Yeah, it will never stop dividing. It always grows on. So if I have to tell you that particular situation, so usually whatever experiments are done in the laboratory, that like, so even I have worked on certain types of cell, like I have worked on lung cancer cells, like the stomach cancer cell, they are called as adenocarcinoma cell, epithelial cancer cells in short. I have worked on the muscle fiber cells, which goes uncontrolled growth because they have been induced with the cancer markers. So those cells, if I keep using for 3 years or even longer, they keep on growing until and unless they are infected by bacteria or virus, or I'm not providing nutrition to it. That's the only stage when they get killed. But if I maintain that cell line for the rest of my life, it can grow. So there usually what happens is we still have, I guess that cell line is called as HEP G2 cell, that is hepatic, hepatic is liver cancer cells. These were the original cells from where, so there was the first patient which was identified of the liver cancer. From that patient, those doctors, they have preserved a set of cells, and then they were regrown in batches, and that cell line is continuing till date. And this I'm talking about, I guess, 1940s or so, right? So if that person was alive by then, 1940, and if I'm able to grow those cells artificially outside, surely they can survive inside body as well. But just because the person dies, the tumor also dies. Otherwise, the tumor can stay alive or growing endlessly. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay, so that is the general sense. But again, just to give you again another idea behind this, is like cancer is never the cause of the death. We imagine cancer as cause of the death. Cancer is not actual cause of the death. Now let's say, for example, I have pancreas. Pancreas secretes insulin. Now if I have pancreatic cancer, that means more cells of pancreas, more insulin. More insulin, less sugar. Less sugar, that means I am dead. So it is not the cancer as such which is like causing the death of the person. It is actually the effects of the cancer which is causing the death. And there is a difference if you understand this process, right? It's the pancreatic malfunction. Now imagine, even if there is a cancer in pancreas and the cells are not secreting more insulin. There is a cancer in pancreas, but the cells of the pancreas, they are not secreting more insulin, then the death of the person will not occur, because the regular functioning of the body is still there, but the growth, the size of the pancreas will keep on increasing. Now again, that is another problem. If the size is increasing, that means it is occupying more space with the same body, so it will create a physical pressure on the spaces around it. And then let's say it is close to heart or close to stomach, it will cause a physical pressure on this organ, and that might cause the death. So there are several other side effects, we can say, of the cancer, but not, the cancer is never the direct reason of the kill of a person or death of a person. Yeah. Okay. We have time. So that is the these are the different stages of the cell cycle. Now moving further and going into a little bit details of the interface, because we have that as a part of syllabus. So we will look at all these phases of the G1S and G2. That these are the subparts of the interphases, or collectively they are called as interphase. So the two daughter cells, like some of the content might have been like revisited earlier, so but I'll still go through this slide. So the two cells or two daughter cells which are produced from the mother cell, uh, they are relatively small with a full size nucleus. Now, not all the proteins or not all the cytoplasmic content that was there with the parent cell needs to get replicated. Most of the information, like I had mentioned while we are looking at the chromosome and genes, that is there present in the genetic code. So that something that is not required immediately for a cell need not be duplicated while the process of cell division is happening, right? So that is when some of the content is never duplicated. It just stays as the genetic code, and obviously the genetic material is getting transferred to the next cell. And that is when the cell is dividing, or the mother cell is dividing. The daughter cell may not have exactly same size like their mother cell. It is usually a little bit smaller, but the nucleus is almost of the same size, because nucleus majorly contains your proteins from the nucleus and the DNA or the genetic material, right? And that does not change from one cell to other or from mother cell to daughter cell. So that's why the size of nucleus remains same, but the size of cytoplasm did not remain same, because some of the content that is not required in the daughter cell will not be duplicated while the cell division happens. And that's why the cell size might look a little smaller than the parent cell, like compared to the daughter cells. So that is just that what the line is saying. Now these cells are said to be in interphase, like whichever is undergoing the transition or the preparation of the cells. During interphase, they as in the cells prepare for the next cell division and grow to the same size to their mother cell. So as and when the daughter cells, they are going to enter into the next cycle of the cell division, they will grow to the same size as their mother cell was, right? And that is again a quite obvious thing, because it has to duplicate material and so on. So that will happen. Since no change in chromosome is visible, now this is one interesting fact. Since there was no change in the chromosomes visible externally, as in when you look at the cell through a microscope, there was no change in the chromosome was observed, especially during the interphase. During the mitotic phase, obviously the changes in the chromosome structures are observed, but during the interphase, there is no chromosomal change observed. And that was the reason why this was called as a resting phase of the cell. Now, do not get confused this resting phase with G0 phase. This was the misconception from the earlier times, and that is being included here. This does not mean your G0 phase of a cell, right? So, because there was no change of this, so before these divisions were yet to like discovered, and what is it called and what exactly are the sequence of event, before it was about to be discovered, this interphase was called as resting phase, because there was no external change was visible in the structure of the chromosome, and that is why it was called as the resting phase, because it was said that the cell is not doing anything, it is only doing in the mitosis. So earlier there were only two phases which were discovered, that is interphase and mitosis. In mitosis there were changes in the chromosome, in interphase there were no changes in the chromosome. So this was the resting phase and this was the division phase. Then later on it got divided into 3, and mitosis got divided into 4, and so on, right? And during this phase, like I said, there was no chromosomal change was visible, but the cell is not resting at this stage, because there is a growth phase. there is a synthesis phase and there is second growth phase. That means cell is rather highly active to duplicate all its material, and that cannot be called as a resting phase, right? And that is why it is the misconception from the earlier times that the interphase was considered as the resting phase, but it is not. Like these days, this term is not used for the interphase. So that is just to clear the misconception. And it has been mentioned, the interphase has three phases, that is first growth phase, synthesis, and second growth phase, and so on. Any questions so far before I actually go into these details of the interphase? And if the content is getting too much, please stop me at any time point. That is also okay.
Sir, can you go to the previous slide?
Yeah, here. I hope you people are making your own notes apart from these slides. Okay, shall I move ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, so in G1 phase, now during G1 phase, which is also called first gap phase or first growth phase and so on, the cell grows physically. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, because the copying of the cell organelles, it becomes 2 each in number, and that is why the physical space occupied will obviously be larger. So the cell will physically grow and it will make the building blocks that it will need in the later stages. That is, for the S phase and G2 phase, whatever is required will be duplicated in the G1 phase. For example, RNA, that is coding for certain proteins, and the proteins itself, they are synthesized in the volume of, they are synthesized, and that is why the volume of the cytoplasm increases. Is this statement wrong here? I synthesize the volume. Okay, the statement is wrongly written here, but what it means is the RNA and proteins, they are synthesized, and that is why the volume of the cytoplasm increases. Now, the mitochondrial, mitochondria, which is present in the animal cell, and the chloroplast, specifically in the green plants or the plant cells in general, they divide in this stage, which have their own DNA, right? Though the S phase is specifically for DNA, this is the exception in which G1 phase also does duplication of the mitochondrial DNA and the chloroplast DNA. Please keep this, because these are the kind of questions which are being asked in MCQ type or one objective type questions. So mitochondria and chloroplast, they have their own DNA, and these structures, mitochondria and chloroplast specifically, they get duplicated in the G1 phase itself. Even though they have DNA, everything in that mitochondria and everything with respect to chloroplast, including their proteins, DNA and so on, they will get duplicated in the G1 phase itself. So, while for rest of these cells, which are still having the nuclear DNA, now I will clarify that, and the non-chloroplast DNA from the plant cells, that is again a nuclear DNA, they will get duplicated specifically in the S phase, that is the synthesis phase. Now, in S phase, again, the cell will synthesize and a complete copy of DNA in its nucleus. So, irrespective of the number of base pairs. Now, usually what is said is our DNA is 10 million base pair long. Now, you can imagine 10 million base pair long is how long, right? Now, if it is that long and that has to be duplicated, the cell takes hardly, let's say, few hours. I guess we will see that timing also later, like how much time does G1 takes, how much time S phase takes, and so on. So these 10 million base pairs, they get duplicated within a short span of time comparatively. If it has to be done, like imagine manually, it will take ages or years for us to do it. But a small cell that does it within like hardly few hours, and that is how brilliantly the human cell system has been designed. So S phase, it will duplicate a complete copy of DNA. Nothing is left out in its nucleus, and it also duplicates the microtubule organizing structure called the centrosome. Now again, this is one of the structural exception which is getting duplicated in the S phase. Now why is this getting duplicated in synthesis phase? Is because it will be required for the mitosis and even for the G2 phase to organize the chromosome material. Centrosome is that central part of the chromosome which holds the two sister chromatids together, and that is what it will help in the separation of the chromosomes or the chromatids, sister chromatids, during the mitotic phase. So that is why it has to get itself ready in the synthesis phase itself. In G2 phase, during the second gap phase or second growth phase, the cell grows more, like I said earlier. The whatever rest of the proteins or cell organelles they are yet to, or they are required for the mitotic phase, they will get duplicated in G2 phase, and then the cell will begin to reorganize its content in preparation for mitosis. This reorganization is highly required because all the cell organelles, let's say I have this room as my cell, and in one corner of the room I duplicate the mitochondria. Then that mitochondria has to get transported probably to the other corner because it will have certain function. That's like when you divide something, it has to go to the different sides. It need not stay at the same place, and that is why this reorganization is one of the important stages in the G2 phase. And as soon as the G2 ends, that is when the mitosis starts. Any question here in this interface so far?
So,
Yeah.
could you just go back to the slide?
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I am yet to give you access to this. No, I have to place it in the right folder. Okay, shall I move forward?
Yeah.
Okay, so the small topic, again, I have written extra here because it is not part of the syllabus, but I felt it was important to know, and that is why I have included in this. There are 2 slides of this, but I will not talk about the second slide. I'll just give you a summary of it, but I have still kept it here for your reference. So, you can like regulation of this cell cycle is one of the most important stages even than the cell cycle or the cell division itself. And the reason being, like if you have a production unit or a production factory or manufacturing unit of any product, whether it's a food product, clothes, or anything, medicines and so on, right? You always have a quality control, right? That means once the product is synthesized or once a certain part of it is done, you always let that product undergo a certain quality check. Similarly, when a cell cycle or cell division is happening, at each and every stage, there is a checkpoint or there is a regulation of that cell cycle that is being checked. And why it is required? Now, for example, let's say mitochondria is getting duplicated or any other organelle is getting duplicated, and if it is not duplicated properly, what we can call it as a manufacturing defect, it can happen with the cell machinery also. So that kind of manufacturing defect has to get discarded. Now that discard is what is known as self-killing here, or what is also known as apoptosis. So when a certain manufactured organelle or even a DNA, if the DNA is damaged, obviously the genetic material is damaged. It's simple, like if you have a line in a particular English language paragraph, and if certain letters are distorted in one of the words, then obviously the meaning of that sentence does not stay the same. It is something same with the again genetic material or DNA. If the certain base pairs, like out of ATGC sequence, if certain are either removed or exchanged or replaced, any of these, then that meaning of that genetic code also changes. It might be harmful, it might be just the same, but surely the cell does not want that changed DNA during the process of cell division. And that is what the regulation does, or that is what the checkpoint does. And these specific checkpoints, they are called as restriction point in the biological language. And these restriction points, they are located at each and every stage. For example, like G1, or in at the transition between G1 and S, or G2 and M. That means if I go back to diagram, so after G1 is done, like at the start there will be one, in between G1 and S there will be one, in between G2 and S there will be one, like from S to G2 rather, and from G2 to M there will be one. So there will always be a checkpoint of these cell cycle phases. Now, who exactly does this check? So there are certain proteins. For example, one of the protein is known as P53. The number 53 is because the molecular weight of the protein is 53 kilodalton, and that is why it is called as P for protein, and 53 is the molecular. So P53. So in biology there are several such proteins which are named like this because of their molecular weight or short forms and so on. So P53 is one of such protein, and it is a tumor suppressor protein. What does it mean? Tumor suppressor, it suppresses the tumor. So when this protein is upset in a cell, the cell has high likelihood to grow into a tumor. But when P53 is present, its function is to suppress the tumor. So the cell is likely to survive as a normal living cells and not as a cancerous cell. So that is the function. And what does P53 does? It detects the changes in the DNA. If it is damaged, it will discard the cell and it will cause the apoptosis of the cell. Here is written apoptosis. So if P53 is present, it will check the DNA. If it is damaged DNA found in the cell, it will cause the apoptosis. If there is no damage, it will allow the cells to undergo the next phase of the cell cycle. So that is the general outline of the regulation of the cell cycle. Similar to your P53, there are other proteins which is like cyclin dependent kinases. Cyclin refers to that cycle. Cycle dependent kinases. Kinases are specific type of enzymes. So cyclin dependent kinases, they have certain function. They also check the formation of the organelles or certain biomolecules within a cell. If they are faulty, they will cause the cell to undergo apoptosis. And if it is not faulty or if it is all right, it will allow the cell to undergo the next phase. And similarly, there is third one, retinoblastoma protein. In short, it is called as RB protein. It has the same function. So again, like I said, I will not go into details of this. If you want to read, you can read through it later. But just to let you know, and these are the three that I have mentioned, there are several such checkpoints or the regulator proteins which control the cell cycle. Okay, so I guess why there is blank slide here, something wrong. Okay, I will stop here. In the next class, I will start with the cell cycle duration and so on. like I had mentioned.